Hi everyone, so I have my January 2015 beauty favorites for you today, and I felt like I had a lot of kind of distinct favorites this month, so I definitely wanted to make a video. I don't do one every month because I just only record them when I feel like I actually have things that are my favorite. And that definitely does not happen every month. I don't feel like I'm gravitating towards anything specifically, using things over and over or that kind of thing. So it is mostly makeup and one hair care, one body skin care, and one really miscellaneous thing. So since it's sitting here, we'll do the body moisturizer. This is actually a body exfoliant. It's from Paula's Choice. It's the Resist 10% AHA. So that is glycolic acid. It also has antioxidants in it. Good stuff. Basically, I use this on my feet and my hands. My feet are always dry, but in the winter it obviously gets really, really bad. And I'm in Minnesota, so the air here gets very dry because it's so cold. And yeah, the soles of my feet will start getting almost like Velcro-y-ish, you know? I mean, it's not a good thing. So this keeps my feet, like only my heels have a little bit of dryness, but this, if I use this every night, it will keep the rest of my feet completely smooth. And it's in better condition than my feet usually are in the summer. So this has been so nice, and I hate using like a file and filing my feet down and everything, and I feel like it's very high maintenance in order to keep my feet in decent condition in the winter, until I started using this, and all of a sudden it was so much easier. And I also tend to get very dry like right here and around my knuckles, and that will kind of keep it to the point where it's not like cracking. So I do still need to use a lot of moisturizer in order to keep them in really good shape, which I tend to not do, but this will, at least at night, I apply it and then go to sleep, and that will keep them from getting really bad. So one thing I will say is, if your skin is chapped, if you have any cuts, this burns on any sort of open cut. So that's just something to keep in mind, and anything that has that high percentage of exfoliant is going to do that. But just so nice to have feet that are in better condition with very little effort. I love that. I did try using it. I have some bumps like on the backs of my arms and on my legs. Didn't seem to really make a difference, and I felt like I was going through the tube really fast. It is only 7 ounces. When you're using it for a large amount of surface area, you're gonna go through it quickly, and it is a little bit more expensive. But just for hands and feet, I feel like this will last quite a while. Should get me through the winter, definitely. Hair, so I got 2 samples of these Matrix Oil Wonders. I just opened up this one, and it's 5 milliliters, which conveniently is the exact same size as the little Josie Maran Argan Oil Deluxe sample. So I've been through one of these packets, which was not the Indian, I thought it was Alma, but it's not. It's A-M-L-A, Amla. Amla, I don't know that word. I've never seen it before. This one, it says strengthening, whatever. These are, the first ingredients are all silicones, I believe. And then there's perfume, and then there's the oils. So I don't know that the oils really make any difference in these, but I feel like the formula for the amount of silicones and whatever, it just really seems to work well for my hair. And the other one I had, if I can find the name of it, I'll include it in the description box. I really like the smell of. This one has a different smell. This one smells a little bit more spicy-ish, which in general I would think I would like better, but the other one I had was like kind of an herbally spa-ish smell. It sort of reminded me, I go to an Aveda salon to get my hair cut, and it's like the smell of that is like super overwhelming. So when I get home, it's just like, you know, for a day, whoo, it's really strong. So it's kind of like that, but much more toned down. And so I actually really enjoy that smell in my hair. And anyway, so what it does is, I have naturally wavy hair, and so this is freshly washed. You can see the underneath side. I actually have some like full curls underneath. Normally I try not to comb it out the first day after washing, but just to preserve the curl, but today it was just so tangly I had to comb it out. So you see, this is the kind of thing that happens. It gets really frizzy on that curls that get combed out. Obviously, I mean, you're just not supposed to do that, but if it's super tangly, I just have to deal with it. And the top, because I sleep on it when it's wet, it does tend to get more flattened. So anyway, I have a fair amount of texture and like frizz in my hair, and I tend to get lots of like little frizziness on the top, and so this is really good at kind of smoothing down that frizziness and just kind of taking it down a notch. It's obviously not going to fix like frizziness from brushed out curls, but it does, I feel, add a little bit of smoothness just from all those silicones. They seem to sit really nicely on my hair. And I just have better luck applying it to dry hair without it getting like greasy looking. I've definitely gone too far and gotten that effect, but I feel like it's a little bit easier not to go overboard. So once I finish this sample, it is possible that I will buy it. Okay, so makeup, the rest of the stuff is makeup. So I'll talk about the only two like eye related things. I've been enjoying a very, very thin liquid liner. When I think liquid liner, I always think like either it's doing a wing or you do nothing, you know? And it's not the case. My eye shape doesn't really work with winged liner. I can keep trying to do it, but it just doesn't make sense. The corners of my eyes kind of go down a little. My eye shape is like more rounded in the top and a little bit slanted, and I have the skin on my eyelids kind of droops a little. It's a little bit hooded, not a lot, but just a little, and it makes for a lot of creases past the corner of my eye. So it's very hard to get a wing to look sane. But then, you know, I realized I don't need to do winged liner. I think I was watching Nick from Pixie Woo had a video at the beginning of the year that was like new year, new makeup. And so she did, I think it was based on like maybe a Mac Trends or something like that book. And it was just very, very thin liquid liner. And I'm like, well, I can do that. Why don't I do that? And I've been using the LORAC Front of the Line Pro. It's a brush tip applicator. I have heard that it's very similar to mine is like drying out. Similar or the same as the Kat Von D, which is cheaper from what I understand. I got this in a palette from what I recall. I'm not sure where I got it. I think it's probably on its last legs, but because it's very fine, I can get a really thin line here. So my eyelid skin kind of sags. Doesn't that sound nice? So it's really hard to actually get eye makeup down there. So a lot of times I won't have eyeshadow all the way up to my eyelashes. And so I just go in there and kind of plop down little tiny, tiny thin liquid liner. Now I do still mess up doing this pretty often, and it ends up being thicker than I want. And that happened today on one of my eyes, but whatever. I just decided to try not to mess with it too much so I didn't end up with like really big, thick liner. And the other thing I've really been enjoying is tightlining. But I don't have a product per se that I enjoy using for tightlining. I've been trying to go through this Maybelline Master Drama pencil in Midnight Master, but it's so creamy, it's really hard to keep it off my waterline on the top, and then it transfers down to my lower waterline, and then it just looks messy, and when it's in my waterlines, it irritates my eyes, which makes my eyes water, and then it's even more messy, and then because of my eye shape and my eyes watering a fair amount, it travels underneath my eyes, and I don't get that like panda eyes or whatever, just because I have a lot of like natural shadow and creasing under there, so I don't think you really notice so much. It just looks a little extra shadowy, but like if I pull down this, I'll see like black in all these creases. Oh, it's ugly. But anyway, I really love the effect you get from tightlining because it just makes the base of your lashes look thicker. It's good. I really like it. I actually have a video about different tightlining methods and techniques and common issues and that kind of thing. So I'll include that below. I did that a little while ago. And so I've always liked doing it and I've been a big proponent of it, but I do fall out of the habit just because to do it right, you do have to take a little bit more time. I feel like I'm talking way too much here, so I'll try to be a little bit more brief with these next ones. Okay, so I can't imagine that I really have much to say about this, but a favorite is in this, but it's not this. This is that holiday, the 2014 holiday Benefit blush palette. And as far as I know, this is the only time they've actually done a blush palette. So I paid full price for this, except for getting cash back through Ebates, which is, that's a big thing for me because in general, I won't buy makeup unless it's discounted, but I was so afraid I wasn't gonna be able to get this. I don't own any full-size blushes from Benefit just because they're so stinking expensive, but of course I wanted to try them. And I got it and I liked it. You know, Dandelion is a nice light pink, which for me can be difficult to find. Something that I can really pile on and it's not a big deal color-wise. But for whatever reason this month, Rockateur was just, it's been what I have been loving. And I've been wearing it probably for the past 2 weeks straight, which is, I just never do that. I never wear the same makeup so regularly. So there it is. I think when I first got it, I was a little disappointed because I was expecting it to be more of a plummy, kind of neutrally shade. I mean, it's weird. I feel like what you get seems different than what's in the pan. I don't know why. I think maybe it's because there's a fair amount of like a golden sheen. It's very much a satin finish as opposed to like a really shimmery finish. So I feel like it's quite subtle, but I think that kind of takes it into a more peach toned, but it's what I have on my cheeks today along with the other product I'm gonna mention. And I've just been really, really liking it. So I'm so happy to find a blush that I'm so excited about. And one that I feel like is really easy to wear no matter what else I have on my face. And so I like to keep it kind of more here. I don't know, I'm not liking pulling my blush all the way back to my hairline lately. I'm not really sure why. I feel like it can add a weird shape. I don't know. Anyway, a highlight I've been loving lately, and I haven't used this one in quite some time, and it's the Wet n Wild Reserve Your Cabana. They have this with bronzers, and I think, they call it a bronzer. You know, I'm really fair. This is not a bronzer for me. It's a darker highlight for sure for me, but it's not, even for me, it's not a bronzer. I mean, come on. It's very silly. Anyway, it's obviously a highlight, but this is also something that I think this is probably one of the most natural sheens on any sort of highlight that I have other than like the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. I don't know. This might even have less visible shimmer than that. It's just, it adds a very kind of satiny golden sheen. But it's not too yellow, it's not too orange, it's more of a beige, I guess. I don't know, like a really super light bronze. Am I gonna agree that it's a bronzer? I don't know. Something about this, so pretty, and I feel like it really works with the Rockateur really nicely, and it's such a nice powder, and you know, it's Wet n Wild, so it's really cheap, and they've been doing a lot of manufacturer coupons lately. So if you get the coupons from the Sunday paper, they're now like $1 off a $1.99 or more product. So I would watch out for those. And I believe that's more than $1.99. So in case you're interested. Okay, last two things, makeup related, and they're both face powders. So I changed my routine to start exercising in the afternoon, and that meant that I'm putting my makeup on around 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm exercising around 1:30. So that is what, 6.5 hours. And then I wash my face and I put on, well, I don't wash like my eye makeup off or anything. I just wash off the face makeup and then I'm redoing my face makeup. So what I started doing at that point was using a primer and a face powder. And the first half of the month, I would say, I was really enjoying the Laura Mercier mineral powder. And I recorded a video showing how I do that kind of medium coverage foundation routine using this. And The only downside to this is that it's so like glowy, and glowy to the point where it's almost a little shimmery. So the area that I have the most visible pores is right through here, and I feel like this sometimes really kind of accentuated that, and I feel like I would need to use maybe a different primer there or something so that this wasn't really highlighting it so much. And the color I wear in this is Soft Porcelain, which is actually a very fair shade. Then the second half of the month, I started using the MAC Mineralize Skin Finish in Light. Now this is a little bit dark for me, so when I do wear it as like a foundation, I prefer to bring it down my neck, which of course I did not do today. It's, you know, it's close. I would say it's close, sort of, kind of. I think it I'm feeling very low. I think that it oxidizes is the deal, because when it's swatched, it doesn't seem that dark, but if I swatch it on my neck, I feel like it always looks quite orange. And I was rather happy to see that I hit pan. I felt like this is one that I've had a long time and that I was just never going to see the pan on, but I've been enjoying it so much that I actually have made quite a dent in it recently. And both of these go on so easily. Liquid foundation, as I went into a whole video about my frustration with foundation, liquids just have a tendency to settle into my pores. I have to use something like similar to a beauty blender. My preferred sponge is the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, just FYI. But I feel often almost anything liquid, I have to use that. But with these, I mean, I can really do it fast. So I use either the Real Techniques buffing brush or the e.l.f. Flat Studio powder brush. That's kind of, you know, cult classic. And I can just kind of throw it on in a minute or so. I love that. And I like the finish of this one a lot. It's not too matte, because my skin is very dry on the kind of outside, so I can't really wear any sort of matte products. And I feel like this has enough of kind of a natural finish. I wouldn't even go so far as saying like a satin finish, but it does have a very natural finish, and it doesn't look too matte and powdery on my face. Neither of these really hold up super well. I've had better luck actually with this staying on my nose, which tends to eat any sort of product alive. I did wear this first thing this morning, and so I did my makeup, let's see, before we got Colin up, so like 7:45 or so. And while I was getting ready for this video at say 1:30, I didn't really have anything left on my nose, and that was with using the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer underneath it. I've had a little bit better luck if I have no moisturizer with the mineral veil and then a powder on top of it, whatever. I'm still working on trying to figure out that. But anyway, I've been really liking these for a really fast option for my face color products. So those have really been quite nice. Last thing I wanted to mention, and I know there's going to be limited interest in this, but I have an Android phone, so mine is the Motorola Moto X, and it was the flagship from last year, I think, so I don't have the most current version of the Moto X. But for whatever reason, mine did not come with Google Keep installed, and one day I was complaining to my husband how I didn't have any sort of like notepad program, and that was one thing that I liked about the iPhone. I had a first generation iPhone and I have not had one since. Was I liked that there was like the sticky note kind of thing, and he was like, well, Google Keep, and I'm like, and he said, you know, it comes on your phone by default. And so he had Google Keep on his phone, and he has a Nexus 5 or whatever from LG, I think. Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, for whatever reason, my phone did not come with Google Keep. So in case you're using an Android, and in case it didn't come with Google Keep installed, maybe this will be helpful. I love it. Oh, I love it. It's the best. It's the best. So it's a way to quickly add notes and lists, which I love, and you can tie it to the Google reminders. So this is just, it has made my life so much easier. So for example, I have a list for my January favorites here. And you have little check boxes, and it kind of archives the check boxes. It's really easy to quickly add a list. I mean, I have so much stuff in here. It's ridiculous. I love it. I have a list here for YouTube videos that I'm wanting to do. You know, it's just, I don't know, all these little things. I'm loving it. Loving it. So I just wanted to mention that in case you have Android and you didn't know that that was there, because before I was using like just composing a draft email or something like that in order to quickly note something down. No real easy way to make a list, and being able to have reminders. And the nice thing about the reminders is you can go and edit the reminders. That's the one big downside to the Google Now reminders that you can do. You can snooze them for like little small, I think you have an option to snooze it for an hour or get rid of it. These you can go in and actually specify when you want to snooze the reminder to. It's so much better, and it's so nice, and I just love it. So anyway, that is, I think, everything for my January 2015 favorites. Let me know if you have any products or software or, you know, whatever that has really been doing it for you this month. I would definitely love to hear it below. Any questions about my products, comments, whatever, let me know. And I hope you're having a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you soon.